First of all, I think we'd like to know a little bit more about you. Who is this person on the podium? And I was intrigued by the introduction of you in the program. It says that you are a bicultural refugee from the pharmaceuticals industry. What does that mean?
Yes, well, I didn't want to give the impression that I ran barefoot across Europe to get away from something. I was working in marketing and market research for the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes.
And then 10 years ago, I chose to be involved with associations. I felt that it was really important for me to be at that stage of my life. I had spent my career being involved in the corporate world, and I felt it was time for me to get involved in something that met my needs, my intrinsic needs to really help.
So you went to medical associations.
So yes.
So you stayed in
the field,
health field, yes.
Okay. But now working as a consultant for medical associations.
And the bicultural?
I've been living in France for 20 years. I'm
okay.
Also French citizen, so I'm
French-American. But the French-American?
American, yes.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you feel now you're French, or?
I don't feel like I belong anywhere.
You're a bicultural, multicultural person.
Yeah, wherever I am, I feel that's my home.
Okay.
So,
so what is it you do in your daily job? What kind of assignments do you have?
We work with medical associations in order to help them with their strategic planning processes, also with governance structures and motivating governance in order to help them become more visionary and more strategically focused. And we help associations work on other things, like helping them find the right strategic partners that they should be working with, that really makes a good match for them. And also other things like we do evaluation of congresses, getting feedback from delegates and members, and also just the general market environment.
Very interesting. So you're looking at the whole spectrum of issues. Yes. And how to run these associations better and to grow and to reach their mission.
Yes, and we work with quite a large range of medical associations, most of them European.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Tell us a little bit what you have installed for us in this program stream that we're going to share with our remote audience today.
Yeah, actually I'm quite interested myself. If I wasn't chairing this session, I'd probably be attending it. Yes. The first one is there's actually 3 sessions going on today. The first one is about developing that portfolio and strategy for an event. So not necessarily pricing, because pricing then will be the next session, and then we'll finish off with technologies that associations are using for their events. Mm-hmm. So in the first session, I think we're going to start out with a consultant who really has a very theoretical concept of events and how to create that portfolio and be strategic about those events. And then we'll have some case studies from...
Oh, that's good, yeah.
I'm really very interested in that.
That's a good format, to have the theory and the framework, and then to have the people who've actually done it.
Yes, I think it will really make sense, and I'll come together, and I'm really hoping for audience participation. Yeah. Of course, I've got my list of questions that are probably meaner than the ones that the audience will come up with, but I really would like the audience, if they have some things in their minds, to really express them and ask those questions.
And of course, we'll invite remote audience as well to voice their opinions and to use we call it the remote panel, or there's a separate tweet panel for the remote audience, so they can comment and ask questions and so forth. So that's the first part is then commercializing.
Well, creating that portfolio and understanding what kind of strategy you're going to have for your event, and there really is a whole strategy behind that. And it's not just necessarily your big annual event, but there are also smaller events, educational events, workshops, other things that I'd like to find out what these associations are doing, so I will be probing them a little bit. Are
associations mostly looking at their events and their portfolio as a source of funding of whatever they do and whatever mission they serve, or do you find that these are also critical parts of how they achieve their mission?
I think the associations that I work with are medical associations, and they're serving the needs of their members, and they're really sincerely, I believe they do need these revenue streams, but that is not their focus. They're really focused on education for their members and for their delegates. They're focused on getting information out, up-to-date information. They want to be at the leading edge of that information. They want to be the reference for their medical fields and in all of those areas. And I sincerely believe that it's important for them. Yeah. They know it's important for them. They can't hold these events at a loss.
But is it a challenge sometimes that the revenue generating focus is maybe overshadowing the educational focus and the purpose of the event to fulfill their mission? Is that an issue?
I don't believe that it's overshadowing, but I do believe they need to find the balance between providing everything that they need to provide and getting all of the people involved that need to be involved, rather than focusing on making revenue. But I do also believe that it is an extremely important aspect of every event, and finding those revenue streams is sometimes they need to provide to find some innovation and some creativity in finding those.
And of course, in these hard times, it's more important than ever.
Well, especially
probably.
with the industry, Elling, the industry is pulling out in a lot of different ways, and we hear it everywhere we turn. We're hearing people talking
medical
about
congresses
that.
Is in the
And they're
melting
not
pot
alone.
almost.
They're not alone.
So after that overriding framework, you go to sort of a subset of that being pricing.
That's right.
Pricing strategy.
We're going to talk about pricing strategies, and I believe you're going to be talking to Benita Lips also. She's going to be presenting in that.
Okay.
And also a director of the ASAE is going to be presenting. So really two people that are very well experienced in this area. I'm looking forward to hearing their presentations and what they see as using effective pricing strategies. And I've got some really good questions for them if we don't have others. So.
Yeah. And then we sort of change approach a bit, and then in the afternoon we talk about technology.
That's right.
Everybody's talking about technology.
Everyone's talking about technology. Everyone wants to try everything new, but I think in order to get delegate buy-in, it's really individually based on who the delegates are at each association, and it's very important that each association look at their own mix of who's coming to their meetings. So.
But that's probably part of the challenge, that their mix includes the technology-savvy young generation and the older generation, which have a different approach.
Yes and no. I think the older generation is not so old anymore.
They're learning from the young. Yeah?
That's right, and I think they're participating.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more people tweeting that are in their 60s, and I'm really encouraged by that. Yeah. It's almost like they're ceding to the technology, and they do realize the importance.
It's really the generation upside down, but now the old learn from the young. And usually it's the young generation learning from the old. So it's lovely,
but because the older generation is getting involved, the younger generation is starting to listen.
Yeah.
I really think so. I think that's really encouraging.
Is there a danger that because technology is hit, that we're going to get technology for the sake of technology and without clear focus?
Yes.
That's why you start with the strategy.
Certainly, that is a danger. And in fact, MMR has just joined a partnership with Newton Strand, who is a technology company, and we're going to work with them because they want to work with associations, but they don't want to just sell them the whole pot, because associations don't need everything necessarily, and so we're going to help them to help the associations
really
to define what their needs are and to look at what they really need and what the delegates are going to be able to accept.
Judy, I know that you need to get up on that podium and get psyched up and get ready. It was lovely to have you here. Thank you very much.
It was nice to participate.
I wish you a really good day. And I think I must make sure I can get into these sessions. It sounds really interesting.
Yes, especially I think you'll have some good ROI questions.
Yeah, very good.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
Thank you.
So now we're going to bring on our second guest. She is Benita Lips. She is a speaker, as Judy mentioned, but she's not here as a speaker. She is here really primarily as a delegate. And Benita, I know we've met before. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you as well.
This is not your first time at the Association Congress.
No, it's the third time I'm here. I've been to one in London quite a few years ago. I've been last time in Liverpool.
Yes.
And now I'm here.
In Estoril.
Yes.
You had something which I think sounds rather grand. It's the DaVinci Institute?
It is, yes.
What is the DaVinci Institute?
Well, we're a European think tank and consultancy who try to drive social innovation. So we bring together people from associations, from science, from culture, who have new ideas of how to tackle the problems that our society faces today. We help them to create joint projects, networks, and facilitate this exchange between people who come from very, very different backgrounds.
So you don't work then only with associations, but also with other institutions and governments and so forth?
Absolutely, yes. I think associations this is what associations are doing. They're facilitators, but there are also lots of people who are not linked to associations, who have great ideas, have great projects, and we work with anybody who wants to do that and connect on an international level.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this for just over a year now.
Okay.
I worked for an association before, for the European Science Foundation, looking after their meetings program. So it's a very nice transition. Yeah. And I think that, meetings is still the way to do this. And meeting in person is still the way to do this.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit what I wanted to talk to you about. What's the role of these meetings? Why do you come? Can you not achieve much of what you pick up here virtually these days?
Well, I think it's great that we have this opportunity to also address a virtual audience, and I think it's essential that this is combined. But it has to be combined because I think if you really want to make a connection and you want to work with somebody, you have to see them and you have to, be close enough to, get a feeling for that person. You want to smell them, exactly. And this is how connections are still made. So I think to get an overview of what's out there and who's there, or to follow up, this hybrid, this virtual world is fabulous. But to really effectively connect, you still have to be face to face.
Hybrid is just because you couldn't be there. I think all these people watching us, they wish they'd be here in Estoril in 25 degrees and meeting all these people face to face.
Yeah. Well, and hopefully they'll have a chance to do that in another setting, and now they have a chance maybe to see who they want to meet. But I think being here is fantastic, and it's a fabulous program this year. I have the feeling it's getting bigger and bigger every year and more diverse, so it's a fabulous location. So,
just a few words about you. You've come as a delegate for several years. You would have been here, I think, as a delegate. But I think some of our loyal delegates, they turn into speakers because you have the experience that you do. So just say a few words about what you're going to speak about.
Well, I'm going to speak about innovative pricing strategies.
Yes.
I'm trying to introduce a model how you can use price to make your events better. I think that a lot of associations think that pricing is not a strategic thing. They don't understand that you have to measure it, that it's all about ROI as well. I'm going to speak about how to use social media and digital marketing to run an association on a small budget. And I'm going to be involved in another session on social media. My presentations will be online as well. I'll be busy.
Say a little bit about your experience with the Association Congress. Is this the place where you come to meet your community, or are there many meeting places that you go to and you meet the association world?
Well, I think that there's a few places which are fabulous for that. I think, IMEX and Confex are very good networks, but you don't always have the chance to meet in a more intimate surrounding and get such a fabulous content and educational program. And I think the associations, this is a really good place to do that. I think that we need to get association leaders together more because they often don't understand that they're part of an industry. They come from backgrounds, come from professional backgrounds, suddenly they're leaders, and they don't always look out at other leaders in this industry.
They tend to sort of live a little bit in their own world?
Well, in their own level of expertise, if you're a medical leader, maybe you don't understand that you have a lot in common with somebody who deals with environmental issues.
This was the point of the keynote speaker this morning as well, wasn't it? That industry is going to start, or corporations going to start to look more like associations.
Exactly. So I think this role that associations have as facilitators, this Congress has that for associations, to be a facilitator, to bring them together.
Interaction between them.
And people who would normally never think about meeting, and here they come together around a very interesting program. I think it's nice to meet people in the exhibition as well, without being pushed into.
You can choose to go and see them, yes.
Exactly, or you can choose to walk by and just browse.
But when we talk about associations in general and social change and innovation, are associations going to have to change now to survive and to flourish? Is the future different from the past in significant ways?
Well, I think that associations are very, very important. They're playing a more important role. So in that way, their future is very safe.
Okay.
But I do think that we have much more mobile and flexible careers nowadays. So somebody who starts in one profession might not necessarily stay in that profession. So associations have to find ways of retaining these members who might, jump from one career to the next, and be a bit more open about how to attract these people who have hybrid careers, hybrid lives, international careers. And I think for that, they have to find new ways of membership. They have to find ways of working with each other, and to add value, not just to members, but to a larger,
bigger community.
A bigger community.
What about their congresses and meetings? Are they going to look the same 5-10 years from now? The format today is fairly predictable. Is it going to continue like that, or?
I think it's a difficult balance act between giving talented people the chance to speak, which is something that they have to do for their members, and providing an excellent program. But I think we have to get more and more into a dialogue also at these events. I think social media will help a lot to do that. That people can send in their questions, engage. I think we have to move away from speeches that we've heard many times before, books that we can also read online, and get more into discussions, into panels, into fishbowls.
So the participant is becoming more active.
Yes.
That's the key.
And I think, participants are experts, and they should have the chance to speak about their experience, and experts should be there to facilitate that and use their knowledge to enrich that discussion. And I think that's where we have to get.
So you want shorter presentations, more interaction, more discussion, more exchange, drawing more of the wisdom of the audience?
I think
that's the future?
I think that's the future of association meetings, yeah.
But I'm sure we'll see you again year after year for Association Congress.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for talking to us.
Okay.
And have a nice day, and good luck with your presentation.
Thank you very much.
I don't feel like I belong anywhere.
You're a bicultural, multicultural person.
Yeah, I wherever I am, I feel that's my home.
Okay.
So, I mean,
so what is it you do in your daily job? What kind of assignments do you have?
We work with medical associations in order to help them with their strategic planning processes, also with governance structures and motivating governance in order to help them become more visionary and more strategically focused. And we help associations work on other things, like helping them find the right strategic partners that they should be working with, that really makes a good match for them. And also other things like we do evaluation of congresses, getting feedback from delegates and members, and also just the general market environment.
Very interesting. So you're looking at the whole spectrum of issues and how to run these associations better and to grow and to reach their mission.
Yes, and we work with quite a large range of medical associations, most of them European. So, yeah.
Tell us a little bit what you have installed for us in this program stream that we're going to share with our remote audience today.
Yeah, actually I'm quite interested myself. If I wasn't chairing this session, I'd probably be attending it.
Yes.
The first one is there's actually 3 sessions going on today. The first one is about developing that portfolio and strategy for an event. So not necessarily pricing, because pricing then will be the next session, and then we'll finish off with technologies that associations are using for their events. So in the first session, I think we're going to start out with a consultant who really has a very theoretical concept of events and how to create that portfolio and be strategic about those events. And then we'll have some case with associations. I felt that it was really important for me to be at that stage of my life. I was had spent my career being involved in the corporate world, and I felt it was time for me to get involved in something that met my needs, my intrinsic needs, to really help.
So you
others.
went to medical associations.
So yes.
So you stayed in
the field,
health field, yes.
Okay. But now working as a consultant for medical associations.
And the bicultural?
I've been living in France for 20 years. I'm also French citizen, so I'm French American.
But the French American.
American, yes.
Okay. Okay. So do you feel now you're French, or? First of all, I think we'd like to know a little bit more about you. Who is this person on the podium? And I was intrigued by the introduction of you in the program. It says that you are a bicultural refugee from the pharmaceuticals industry. What does that mean?
Yes, well, I didn't want to give the impression that I ran barefoot across Europe to get away from something. I was working in marketing and market research for the pharmaceutical industry.
Yes.
And then 10 years ago, I chose to be involved